everyone, welcome back to the Nasty Metal Production channel here at YouTube, and welcome back to Metaltober. So, for this episode, I'll be looking at my top 10 favorite horror themed metal artwork or so, or just for metal albums that have basically a whole horror feel. At times, maybe a bit of Halloween feel, but probably just horror feel. So, before I actually get into the actual list, let's get into some honorable mentions. This honorable mention right here, and I could have thrown this, but again, it's why it's an honorable mention. That's, of course, the Slaughter from, or Serpato by Slaughter. Canadian death thrash metal band. Great album, but the artwork to me, I don't know, it just has that horror feel to it. Don't know how good you're getting because the lighting sucks here. So I hate taking things out. Right here. Yep. Just really good artwork and stuff. It just has that feel. That's all. That's all I can say. I got no other words for it. Still, honorable mention. Another honorable mention here. Now, not technically artwork, because it's not actually, art. But it's just got that sort of horror feel. That, of course, is Death Penalty by Witchfinder General. Now, it was originally on my list, but when thinking about it, something else came up. But it's at the same time, it's got. Of course, I don't know, I might get dinged for this because of there's boobies, and I don't know how much YouTube's gonna go be all, I don't know. Then again, if you actually look up any song from this album, it'll still show the artwork, so. But you know what, I am gonna push it. Ding me, YouTube. Ding me. Still, it kind of has that sort of horror feel. It's campy and cheesy, almost like some of the Ozzy Osbourne artwork, at least for like the first 3 albums. But more X-rated, I guess, or R-rated. Probably R-rated. Still, good album though, definitely great, and it's definitely horror themed. And of course, I'm not going to give out any spoilers. Alright. Now this one, the last honorable mention here is kind of, because this band's albums and its mascot, very horror themed. And this won't be of course, one of their albums did make my list, but that's all up for you to think on what album would make my list. But this album is an honorable mention. I just recently picked this up. That, of course, is Peace of Mind from Iron Maiden. Great album, actually. An album that definitely took me years to actually get into. I didn't care for it when I first listened to it, but now it's clicked with me. But the artwork itself always just popped out at me. Just Eddie right there, basically pretty much put in a straight jacket like he's freaking crazy and stuff. Of course, yeah, but still, it's just the whole idea of it. Almost has more of a Frankenstein feel because of the head. Of course, the album's called Peace of Mind, and basically, if you open up the disc, you can tell that they definitely did dissect his brain, and they put it in a platter. So, food for thought, which of course was the original title for the album. Still, don't want to waste too much time here. It's an honorable mention. It's got that somewhat horror feel. This one and the other album up here. Of course, any Iron Maiden album, in a way, almost has a horror feel. But this one and the album that I'm going to be talking about in my actual list that I put in there probably has much more. But again, this one definitely has that feel. And it just works. Alright, finally into the actual list. So, coming in at number 10 is Desecrator from Ambush. Now, again, I've talked about Ambush quite a few times here on this channel, and for the horror theme stuff, maybe last year I could have, but I don't know, maybe. Still. Again, with all that, so the graveyards and all of that, it just has that somewhat horror feel, and to me, it definitely belongs on the list for me. And again, it's one of my favorites, actually. Of course, I like the other album as well, Firestorm, but this one, the artwork has definitely got that. Of course, even back here, still good album, but it's at number 10. Coming up is kind of in a similar theme with Desecrator, but with graveyards, whatever. I don't know if this one might be kind of graveyardy, but that's, of course, is at number 9 here is Rising from the Sea from Exhumer. We gotta take this out for a bit. Just coming out from the fog, like the sea, then again, but it's just got that Halloween sort of, or just that horror feel to it. Of course, Possessed by Fire could have also been on here, but just because of this artwork, I think this one has much more theme with like Halloween and October than the other album. Of course, it's with the hockey mask or so, it definitely has like Friday the 13th, but it's still got that horror feel, and that's why I put in here. It's just decide for yourself. And of course, I've always liked it. There was just something about this cover that I liked quite a bit, and it definitely just struck out at me. But Rising from the Sea from Exhumer. If I can get this now in here. Here we go. Alright, so coming in at number 7, of course, like again, speaking of Iron Maiden, this was, of course, the album that did make my list because of its artwork. And if I also had to pick any other Iron Maiden album that would be probably my personal favorite, it'd be this album. As, of course, is Killers from Iron Maiden. Now, I have the album, and I also have the shirt of this album, which probably tells you why I like this album a lot. And, of course, the artwork itself has much more horror theme. And, of course, it's kind of typical, but this album always struck at me with just Eddie with the hatchet in his hand. Of course, the guy grabbing onto him, you can tell that he definitely killed him. It's very got that slasher film feel to it. Of course, there's even something in the Peace of Mind album that had Eddie pretty much killed most of the 7 dwarves or something from the Snow White film. And it's a morbid feel to that Disney cover, but just having Eddie basically lay waste to some, it just makes him... There's a reason why he's kind of put him with some of the horror monsters from the movies and such. Just look at this guy. He definitely will come out and freaking slash you or fucking strangle you, but still, it's what made people appeal to at least Iron Maiden. It got people checking them out, and of course it's it's one of my favorite albums from Iron Maiden. Great album though. That's all I gotta say. And killer artwork. Oh, no pun intended, I guess. Killer artwork, and the album's called Killers. Whatever. All right, so coming in at number 6 actually that was 8. That was 8. Wow, I'm fucking up here. Anyways, coming in at number 7, the actual number 7. God damn it! Now I got a prisoner pun in my brain right now. Shit. Alright, so here, coming at number 7, it's kind of campy, but for me, it always struck out me, and that's, of course, is Ready for Hell from Killer. This is probably the most horror theme from them, and now, again, it's cheesy, but for me, who's like slasher films and old school, like 80s and 70s slasher films, this definitely has that feel to it. It looks like it's for a slasher film, and for some reason, it kind of reminds me almost something from like the Toolbox Murders for some reason, or even just the covers. Like now, just again, just a guy with this leather gloves, is pointing a knife at the lady or so. It has to be either in a bathroom or a shower. Either way, it's got that some really old school underground horror feel to it that you expect with at least slasher films from that time. Just definitely, I think it's what struck out at me as horror. Definitely right there, and it's why I put it in my list, because it's always struck out at me as one of my favorites here. So, again, good album though, and definitely good artwork. Alright, coming in number 6 is definitely a recent album, and it's definitely one that kind of really definitely struck at me, and it's definitely very horror as well. Kind of similar with Ready for Hell, and that's of course is The Guillotine from Vulture. Let me take out the cover. I don't want to make. I'm trying not to make this video too long, but again here, again just the whole thing. Just geez, the guillotine just coming down on the guy who's basically freaking panicking for his life. He's like completely scared shitless because of this guy right here is pretty much cutting the rope on the guillotine. It's cruel. But this is what I like about when it comes to horror theme artwork. This is very much, again, kind of in theme with Ready for Hell. It's very much within 80s horror, especially slasher films. Great, great artwork, and definitely one that deserved to be on the list. Of course, killer album, and I did a review for this album as well. Great, great album. So, again, coming in at number 5 is, of course, an album that made my last list, which, of course, was for horror-themed metal albums. And that's, of course, Hellstar with Nosferatu. And we just take out the artwork here, which is right there. Just, again, very much within themed horror, and I've always liked this cover. It's just Nosferatu basically looking all... just looking mean. Just keeping up on there. Just take it all in. Fucking great artwork there for a great album. Oh shit, my list fell. Okay. Trying to make this as quick as possible. Doing for time is 12. Okay, so coming in at number 4 is Court in the Act from Satan. Again, this sound, it's not technically complete. It's, I don't know, there's always something creepy about this album for me. It's like, it's kind of cheesy, but it's almost creepy. It kind of has some more of a 70s, 60s, or type kind of horror poster feel to it. Kind of like those really old school horror films, like some of the really old ones from like the 50s, 60s, at least 50s or maybe 40s, somewhere around there, like the Vincent Price era. Just got that feel to it. It's, I guess you could say maybe oil painted, but it's just, it's of course the band, of course, they're called Satan. But it's just the album, it's just the artwork, just the judge right there, basically, well, Court in the Act. Of course, you got guys, a bunch of, I guess, could be politicians or something. There is almost a political feel, but just with this, the whole style of it. And of course, the other albums by Satan kind of have the same feel anyway, but there's something about this one that always struck out at me as kind of very unique in a way. And it kind of sets the whole overall feel, I guess, for even the album itself. Still, Court in the Act from Satan. Alright, so coming in, number 3 is Kill for Pleasure from Blood Feast. Now, I could have chose any other Blood Feast album as well, and I've been talking about Blood Feast for some of this throughout this channel, especially throughout the year. But still, this, and I could have chose even Chop Me Block Blues as well, but this one for artwork, I think for when it comes to favorite, this is one of my favorites right here. Again, very horror theme, kind of in line with some of the other albums here, but it just has much more of a striking feel to it than some of the other albums from Blood Feast. Not to say the other artwork is by them is bad, but this one just to me screamed a lot better for this list, and it's probably one of my favorites from Blood Feast when it comes to artwork, especially Drew Elliott right there. Still, good album. Alright, so coming in number 2, again, probably in line with that the Ready for Hell album from Killer. It's campish, and I talked about the sound more as an honorable mention in my last video, but this sound definitely, yeah. That, of course, is Tales from Terror from Hallows' Eve. Again, we kind of actually get to the actual artwork here. It's going to be a little long, this video, but I'm almost done here. So, which is right there, the actual original artwork. Still, to me, it's just because of the again, kind of aligned with some of the other ones. While it's a bit cheesier, but again, with horror posters at the time, they almost had a cheesy feel. Like, even if you look at some of the old films such as Hatchet or stuff like that, it's got that old school horror slasher film poster to it. Just has that feel. And again, with the execution, of course it was on Metal Blade, and of course they always had the axe right there, usually for the time frame on their old label logo. But still, it just, I think, just sticked out at me as probably one of the more, when it comes to artwork from Hallows' Eve, and when it comes to favorite horror posts or covers, this one definitely was one that definitely came to mind. And of course, it's why I got number 2. Still, great album, and of course, coming in number 2, and I'll definitely go to my wall, because this album is one of my favorites, and this artwork, when I think of October, this is one of those albums I'll definitely think of. This is why I'll put the album at number 1. And I'm building a suspense while I'm putting this album in its plastic sleeve. Get that. Here we go. Time to get to the wall. And of course, coming in at number 1 is, of course, Darkness Descends from Dark Angel. The whole album, again, with kind of like with the Rising from the Sea or so, but this one always struck out me as even more October-ish or horror feels. Like it's very much that whole Night of the Living Dead, Dawn of the Dead, very zombie-ish with the hands coming up from the grave next to the tombstone. But it's just its overall feel. It's cheesy, but at the same time it works. Of course, you even had the Evil Dead films, and that's what I can tell what they were aiming for. One of my favorite albums, and also probably one of my favorite artwork, especially when it comes to thrash metal as well. Just a great album with great artwork. So, this video is definitely kind of long, almost around 19 minutes long. So, tell me what you thought of this list, if you definitely liked my picks, or if you have any your thoughts on some of the picks here, definitely comment down below. So, thank you for joining in, and I'll definitely still be with you for the last 2 episodes, at least, or last 2 video or list videos for Metaltober. So until then, this is Every Thrasher saying I'm out. I'll see you later.